Battlers, I am back. Welcome to another episode of the United Podcast Roster Review Edition. Well, that was another huge episode to sink our teeth into tonight. That's right. Can the Newcastle Knights somehow, some way manage to get their first back-to-back victories in over 12 months? Can you believe that? It's going to be no easy task with historically us being not so great at Brookvale Oval. Can you believe since 1988, the Newcastle Knights only winning 5 games in their 24 appearances? That's right, 19 losses to the Manly Sea Eagles at Brookvale Oval, which is not great. But look, the Sea Eagles still stinging, and we love to hear it. We love to see it after their brutal Golden Point loss to the Raiders after blowing a huge lead and leaking a ton of points through the middle of that game. But yeah, look, plenty of talking points. We've obviously got the United News, our player battle matchup brought to you by Metalman, our grain-fed brewery lock it in. So make sure you start firing away your lock it in predictions for this game, as well as answering your burning questions. So battlers, sit back and get ready as we take a look at the Justin Holbrook outlook for round 2 clash against the Manly Sea Eagles. Let's go. All right. That's right. It's time for a rant, Lou. Hit it. All right, battlers. Do you know who can go chew on that? KO. KO. Now, not only has KO bumped up our pricing, what's it, something like 40? What's it, 40 odd $5 something a month now, Lou, that we're paying?
Something ridiculous.
Something crazy. Now, you know your boy sits back, rewatches the game, all right, pause it, go back, check the tape, see all the little things that I might have missed the first time when I was too emotional. Now, Lou, you bear witness to this. Now, look, this mightn't bother a lot of people, but it pissed me right off, is I love pausing the screen and watching shape unfold. Now, if you hadn't noticed, battlers, when you pause KO now, the bastards black the screen out and they throw another ad on. Another ad. We've just got a pay increase. And they thought, you know what? No, we're not going to let the battlers pause the screen and just maybe just read the play. No, we're just going to instantly black that out and fucking throw in a Zito ad or, I don't know, fucking KFC or something. It was crazy. You literally get 2 seconds to look at it and it blacks out. Comment away if you know what I'm talking about. I was so disgusted in that.
Yeah, he's pretty annoyed.
Oh, so annoyed. How many times, honestly, every time Kalen Ponga and Dylan Brown ran some shape, I'd like to pause it and just take it all in. And nah, I got 2 seconds of it and a fucking Azito ad came up. Oh, KO, what are you doing? Go chew on that. Seriously. Well, battlers, let's be honest. If you're going to chew on a hot take, you might as well chew on something absolutely elite. And that's right. The guys at Beach Jerky has flavors for everyone. Whether it's from the classics or the ones that hit you harder than a front row. Support local, support Newey, Beach Jerky. Make sure you go get your bag. All right. Bit of game day fuel. Go visit their website at beachjerky.net. All right, battlers, if you're loving the show, do us a solid. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe on all social media platforms. All right. I'm sure you're all over them and we're there too. It would greatly help us out. So make sure you go hunt us out if you haven't done so already. Like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff over all social media platforms. Now, also, if you want to support us here at the Battlers, at the United, all right, we're no different to you. We're just a couple of battlers trying to put together, trying to make something of this, trying to give you the best quality content we can. All right. If you want to do that and you want to support us, you can do so for as little as $5 per month. What does $5 even get you nowadays, Lou? I swear it's soon. It's not even going to get you half a litre of bloody diesel, the way the world's going at the moment.
Yeah, no, not much.
With inflation, $5 a month, absolutely.
Doesn't even get you a coffee, does it?
Absolutely does not. It wouldn't even get you an egg cup of coffee in Las Vegas. Trust me. All right. So $5 a month, $10. If you want to come into the exclusive Club Nitanium Discord channel, seriously, it was one of the most cathartic spaces on the internet last year. You want to come into the fold, you want to get your keys into the Club Nitanium, $10 a month, baby, and you are in. But if you fancy yourself as, you know what, a bit of a throbber, a bit of a winner, a bit of a goer, all right, the lock-it-in competition, which we're taking a bit later. Oh, here we go. Let me get it the right way. You want to go in the running to win the lock-it-in championship belt, all right? Brody K's got the first one, all right? He's already gunning for the second one. He wants to be
He wants to be a Cleary. He wants to go back to back. He wants to get Penrith Panthers all up in here. So you want to go in the running and get in to the Lock It In competition. $25 a month, baby, and you are in. You're in the running, all right? So give it to Brody because he's feeling very, very confident. So come on in. Sign on up, $25 a month. It's a shitload of fun. If you feel like you can predict what the Knights are going to do better than anyone, that's the competition for you, baby. All right, let's do it. Let's take a look at what's happening around the Newcastle Knights this week, Battlers. Oh, shit. All right, some breaking news. That's why we were a couple minutes late as we were setting up. Huge news just dropping. Kalen Ponga, our skipper, our Dally M winning skipper, Kalen Ponga, his face is all over the place behind me here, has just applied to play for the New Zealand Kiwis. Now, there were rumblings of this for a long, long time. Obviously, the new Origin eligibility rules have now opened a door for a plethora of players. Now, they no longer have to choose between Origin football and playing for another Tier 1 nation. With those eligibility rules changing. What was it, late last year, earlier this year, whenever that was? So he has made his application. The Rugby League Board is set to meet tomorrow to discuss that application. I cannot see why anyone would stand in his road. So New Zealand, you are welcome. Now we have 3/4, you would think, of the New Zealand spine. How good is that? So this is absolutely huge news for the Kiwis. Massive. Don't come at me with Keanu Kenny, all the Titans supporters and all the New Zealanders who think Keanu Kenny's got anything on Kalen Ponga. All right, you've just had a massive upgrade. Wowee, this is super exciting. I tell you what, I'm a proud Australian through and through, and I'll be cheering on the Kangaroos. But, geez, I'm going to have a very big soft spot for the Kiwis. And 3/4 of our spine are going to be Phoenix Crossland, Dylan Brown, and Kalen Ponga. Super exciting stuff. So I'm sure they'll be partying over in New Zealand. So huge World Cup coming up at the end of the year. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Now, Battlers, our boy Fletcher Sharp's a really promising news with some footage dropping today with Coach Justin Holbrook quote saying he's not bad at all and he's already running. Now, I had got some inside intel saying basically if the flight back wasn't so long, he was a red-hot chance of playing this week. It was just obviously that humongous trip over to Vegas. It is what it is. But had it been an injury domestically, every chance he could have rehabbed it and been playing this week. But wasn't to be, but just like seriously, how good a news is that? So he's well and truly on track. I'd be absolutely gobsmacked if we don't see him running around for our first home game next week against the Waz. All right, moving right along to our boy, Mr. Cabernet Sauvignon. Now, we all thought this was going to be the farewell tour for Dane Gagai, but he may as well have other plans. Coming out and saying, look, he doesn't seem to think 2026 is going to be the end of rugby league football for Dane Gagai. Now, we do know he's contracted to the end of 2026 this season for the Newcastle Knights. I don't think he's going to get a contract extension. We have some absolute throbbers coming through on the outside backs. We had one of the battlers ask me on the Match Rewind show, who my top 8 were. And, I completely and utterly forgot about Wilson DeCourcy. So, obviously, you got James Schiller, Wilson DeCourcy in the mix, Kyle McCarthy. There's some really, really good gun outside backs waiting in the mix. So going to be interesting to see, does an NRL club pick him up? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if another club picks him up, but you can bet your ass he would absolutely tear it up over in the Super League. He still would look good for the Queenslanders. I don't think you'd even find too many Queenslanders who would be opposed to Dane Gagai running around. I think it was nearly 10 years ago that he won the Wally Lewis medal, and he's still carrying, still playing really, really good football. The guy's just blessed, genetic freak, just very fortunate not to have any really bad long-term injury. So wait and see. Maybe this isn't the farewell tour for Dane Gagai. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Now, unfortunately, Battlers, some more news coming about Mitch Barnett, looking like it's increasingly unlikely that the Newcastle Knights will secure the services of the once proud prop forward. Now, we do know, as I said on the Match Rewind show, he has requested permission to depart the Warriors on compassionate grounds. Now, the Brisbane Broncos, I think, are right in the hot seat. So another reason that I fucking hate that club. They took Jesse Southwell away from me. Now they're fucking ripping Mitch Barnett away from me too. I reported $750K over till the end of 2028 with an option for 2029. I didn't realise Mitch Barnett is 32 years old. That I just like, wow, where has time gone? And I guess kind of makes sense because what we're saying, DSAP was 30. So yeah, 30. That can't be right? 32 this year. That means he would be contracted to the end of 34. Anyways, look, anyhow, as Dom's trying to call my phone. Sorry, Dom. I'm busy talking, mate. But yeah, so look, increasing unlikely, which is super disappointing. I think when we heard the news that, he wanted to get big back close to family and they're based in and around Taree, we were right in the box seat. He's got a connection with the Newcastle Knights. But look, stranger things have happened, but it doesn't look like Mitch will be coming back to the Knights. So still keep your fingers and toes crossed for that one, battlers, because you just may never no. All right. Well, enough of the night news. Let's sink our teeth into this upcoming game against the Manly Sea Eagles this Sunday. Brookvale, 2 p.m. kickoff for all you Sydney folk. 3 up here. We're still living in this dual time zone shit up here. But yeah, as I said before, Manly, the Brookvale being an absolute fortress. We seem to be immune to winning over there. 5 wins in 24 appearances. Yuck, not good. But look, let's sink our teeth into the to the team for round 2 that has been named. Now, not too many changes this week, but let's kick it off with the spine with our captain, Kalen Ponga, the Kiwis' new massive recruit. He's named at fullback. Sandon Smith comes in for the injured Fletcher Sharp. I don't think anyone was really too surprised there. With Dylan Brown at halfback and Phoenix Crossland named at hooker, moving across to the Manly Sea Eagles, where my mouse decides to work. Tommy Turbo, captain, named at fullback, with Luke Brooks and partnered up with his new halves partner, Jamal Fogarty, obviously making his way from the Raiders to fill that vacated spot by Daly Cherry Evans, with Jake Simpkin in the hooker position for the Sea Eagles. Now, let's talk about the Manly Sea Eagles. Super unpredictable, chaotic football team. Very inconsistent. What have I got here in my notes? They struggled massively for field position for huge parts of that game against the Raiders, even though they were handed. I think it was like they had the ball for nearly 100% of the time for the first 10 or 11 minutes of that game, scoring 14 points in the first 16 minutes and then managing to score 14 points in the final 6 minutes. So they're a team that basically chaos is their bread and butter, as it seems. Super inconsistent. Now, if we're going to have any chance of beating this team, we want to get them into a grind, baby. We want to get into our rhythm. We want to get into our groove, and we want to grind them out. We want to do those big, long kicks that Dylan Brown's used to. We want to try and take Tommy Turbo out of this game. Because if Tommy Turbo's on and he's got some highlight packages coming, he is only going to lift the back 3, and the attack is going to come with him. Tommy Turbo, basically, how I see it, Tommy Turbo is kind of what Kalen Ponga has been for us for the past few seasons. He's basically it. Like, you look at the spine, as I read out before, Luke Brooks, Jamal Fogarty, Jake Simpkins, like, there's not a huge amount of X factor there. When you're comparing that to our spine, I'm looking at our spine. I think our spine is infinitely better across the board. KP, Sandon Smith, Dilbrand, and Phoenix Crossland. Like, if Fletcher Sharp was in that mix, anyway, Sandon's going to do a great job anyways. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing more and more of Dylan Brown's controlling nature of the game. As I said before, I'm going to get to the middles because I think this is where we can absolutely, undoubtedly, just break down this Sea Eagles game and break down this Sea Eagles team like the Raiders did. The blueprint's there. But yeah, if we can get Dylan Brown really controlling that game, really understated performance like he was doing over in Vegas for us, and picking his moments, is going to go a long, long way for us to winning this football game. Let's jump right into it now, Lou. Let's jump into this week's player battle matchup, brought to you by our brand new sponsor, and I'm so fucking excited for this sponsor, Battlers. Now, before we jump into this week's sponsor, let's have a chat about our mates at Metalman, because every single battle deserves a medal, even if the NFL refuses to hand out one for the most brutal tackle of the night. At Metalman, they specialize in high-quality custom medals and awards for sporting clubs with competitive pricing, fast turnarounds, and friendly local service. From junior carnivals to grand finals, they recognize every achievement in style. The Metalman, where every win deserves recognition. Make sure you go visit them, Metalman. Now, these are the guys, Battlers. These are the guys we're so excited. When we come down to Newey in a few weeks' time, we're hoping to try and tee something up and do a bit of a package on how these guys do what they do. These are the guys that make the Danny Badiris medal, all right? And trust me, all right, we got a little bit of something working with these guys, something super exciting. I cannot wait to talk about with you. It's going to be so fucking cool. We're going to iron a couple of things out, but so stoked to have these guys on. Seriously, I love all of our sponsors, and these guys, I'm so grateful for jumping on board. And this is just like a match made in heaven, having these guys jump on. So huge shout out to the Metal Man. Make sure you go follow them. Great content on their social media pages, all right? So huge shout out to them. But anyways, let's sink our teeth into it. The two captains, Kalen Ponga up against Tom Trbojevic. Now, I do feel like there's far more pressure, as I was saying before, put on Tom Trbojevic. I don't think he's got anywhere near as much help as Kalen Ponga does now. Kalen Ponga is probably sitting over there looking at Tommy Trbojevic and goes, I know how you feel, mate. I know how it feels to be the only egg in that goddamn basket. But yeah, I think it's going to be a huge, great matchup. Obviously, two representative Origin caliber players. And again, the likeliness keeps coming to me. Injuries obviously rocking both these guys. Tommy Trbojevic, super unfortunate, just got genetically the worst hamstrings it seems on the planet. This guy unfortunately just can't seem to keep it together for too long. But I tell you what, when he's on, he is on. He's one of the most damaging rugby league players of all time. So the matchup between these two, if either one of these guys have a highlight reel, the players in and around him are just going to be scoring points for days. So it's going to be super imperative that we try and take Tom Trbojevic out of this game. I think that if nowadays, I think this season, when I was talking about this is the best spine we've had in over a decade, I genuinely feel that way. If Kalen is somewhat quiet, we've got more weapons around now that can lift. Where prior to, I feel like where Manly is now, you take Tommy out of the game, it's going to stifle their attack. They're going to look pretty boring and predictable because I just don't think they've got that X factor in the team. They've got some pretty handy outside backs as far as guys within the spine. I just don't think they've got it compared to a lot of other teams, especially compared to us. I think our spine is infinitely better. So my player battle matchup is these two blokes absolutely going at it. Let's talk about Sandon Smith really quickly. Look, did we look as dangerous whilst he was on, when Fletcher Sharp was on? No, we didn't. But look, that's no massive criticism on Sandon Smith. I thought he did really, really well regardless. You got to remember, both him and Dylan Brand, still brand new halves partners. And for them to do what they did was pretty remarkable. I know it's against the Cowboys, but it's only going to get better and better from there. And we do know when he came to the club, he stated unequivocally that he wanted that half spot. So you can bet your ass he's going to move heaven and earth. I know it's going to be a big job for him to try and somehow, some way, try and get that spot over Fletcher Sharp. It seems near impossible, but he's going to have a red hot crack at it. So iron sharpens iron, and I'm sure he's going to come out and have a really, really good game. So really looking forward to, it sucks Fletch isn't playing, but I'm still equally as happy to see Sandor get an opportunity and see what he can do for us as well, no longer coming off the bench this week. Look, I don't know what really to say about the Sea Eagles halves. Obviously, they've got a new halves combo too, Jamal Fogarty. Look, you'd have to say probably a downgrade on DCE, even though DCE probably has been pretty disappointing, I think, Clubland for a long, long time now. Things really didn't kick off, did they, between him and Luke Brooks? I think everyone was kind of thinking they'd probably expected to do a bit more than they did for the few seasons they played together. But yeah, look, they're guaranteed they're going to be stinging after that Golden Point game against the Raiders. So sure, they've knuckled down on plenty of things, and they want to ice their moments far more. Because as I said, when they're on, they're on. Chaos seems to be the theme for the Seagulls. When it's chaotic, broken play, they can score a bunch of points very quickly. But it just seems once they settle in the grind, they sort of can't seem to match it with most other NRL clubs. So that's going to be the theme there. All right, let's move along to the outside backs. Completely unchanged for the Newcastle Knights with Dominic Young, Dane Gagai, and Bradman Best partnered up with Greggy the Braids Marzu. We need to confirm if those braids are still in, because if they are, put your house on him scoring a try this week. With Lehigh Hopewadi, Kula, Ruben Garrick, and Jason Saab. Common away. Who do you genuinely think is faster, Jason Saab or Dominic Young? I'm going to be incredibly biased and say Dominic Young, but geez, there wouldn't be much in it, I wouldn't think. They'd have to be two. They must be two of the fastest, like top line speed, those two going at it would have to be it, right? But anyways, another really great battle is going to be the along our right edge there with Dane Gagai up against Cooler. Cooler bagging a try last week. He had a really, really good game. He was influential in scoring points for the Sea Eagles. He's a guy that seems to be getting better and better and better. He's a player though. Like honestly, if the bloke stood in front of me, I wouldn't recognize him. I genuinely, I got no idea what the bloke looks like. Isn't that weird? He could be a real origin bolter as well. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. I think that'll be a really good battle. But I'm just really looking forward to see now that we're playing on a wider field. As I said before on the Match Rewind show, Allegiant Stadium being slightly narrower, I think, that probably cost us at least a try or two. I really do. I think got that little bit more width in our play. Yeah, look out. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do. I know the lethal left, I think it's coming back, and it's coming back in a big way. But don't sleep on the right. All right, the right's going to be doing some things as well. So, but yeah, again, I'm giving us the tick in the box there, but they're pretty similar. They've obviously got some pretty handy outside backs. I think this is probably where the Sea Eagles, if you had to grade all areas of their roster, I would say the outside backs is where you would rank them the highest. And I think even Manly Sea Eagle supporters would probably agree with that notion as well. But anyways, this is the big one, the forwards. Let's move along to the forwards. Dylan Lucas and Jermaine McEwen, our second row for the Newcastle Knights with Trey Mooney, Jacob Sire, Feedy. Starting props with Tyson Frizzell, completely unchanged from last week. Moving across to the Sea Eagles with Hamole, Olakawatu, and Ben Travojevic in the second row with Kobe Hetherington, Taniela Paseka, and Jake Travojevic locking down the middle. Now, this is it, battlers. This is it. I genuinely feel we had the better forward pack. I know last year that would be just something insane to say. Everyone was saying the Newcastle Knights don't have a better forward pack than anyone. It seems to be the biggest criticism. Well, I think this is the biggest criticism of the Sea Eagles team. And I know if we can get massive momentum swings, if we can dominate the middle, get that quick ruck through the middle, we can absolutely blow this Manly Sea Eagles team apart. Because that's what the Raiders did. Man, look, easier said than done because the Raiders had the best forward pack in the comp. I know it's still early days, but the names speak for themselves. And I can tell you, once the Raiders got a roll through the middle, the Sea Eagles had no answers. Seriously, 28 unanswered points between the middle part of that game. They didn't know what to do. So that's got to be the blueprint. If we can just pound them through the middle there, quick ruck, dominate there, and then just drag them into the mud in defense, we got them, baby. We got them. Because, yeah, I feel like, Jake Travojevic, everyone loves Jake Travojevic, but, I kind of think the game's passed him a little bit too slow, not what he once was there, locking down the middle. Kobe Hetherington and Paseka, I don't know. I think Jacob Saifidi and Trey Mooney have way more upside. Is that me being incredibly biased? Maybe, but it's how I feel. I just feel like we've got the edge. Now, look, Hamole Olakawatu, obviously the massive one there. The battle between him and Dylan Lucas is going to be a good one. Obviously, Hamole parked up on that right edge there. So looking forward to that one. The right edge there, as I was saying before, with Kula and Olakawatu. Kula's on the other edge. Sorry, my bad. That's my bad. Olakawatu and Dylan Lucas, coming together on their perspective edges. That's going to be a really good battle too. Olakawatu, absolute animal, beast of a player. So really looking forward to that one. Dylan Lucas, did he play the best game of his career over in Vegas? No, he didn't. He didn't play poorly at all. He's only going to get better for the run. He didn't do a lot wrong. Like, I'm not saying he played a bad game whatsoever, but it wasn't one of those massive highlight games that we're used to seeing Dylan Lucas play, all right? I'm sure the highlights of the feet are going to come out this week. I'm sure we're going to see some really impressive footwork as the spine gel more and more. We see some more combinations, some really slick shape being run. Also, too, it just dawned on me, our attacking coach, Stephen Hale, he comes from the Sea Eagles, so you can bet your ass that he knows the ins and outs of a lot of these players. That literally just popped into my brain now. So that also works in our favor as well, knowing that we got an ex-member of the coaching staff there as well. So, as I said, yeah, Manly's attack really relies on that quick play to ball to create space for the outside back. So we want to drag them into the mud. That's where we're going to make them feel the most uncomfortable. And I really think that's going to be the recipe for success. I think they're just that team at the moment. They just don't have it in them to the war of attrition, so to speak. They just kind of throw the ball around and kind of hoping for the best. They seem to be, under the Anthony Seibold era, very inconsistent football team. And I think like this is probably one of the worst rosters that he's had, especially since DCE's left the building. But anyways, let's move along to the bench for the Newcastle Knights. Tommy Cant comes in at 14 with that spot vacated by Senon Smith, Matty Croker, Pasami Solo, Francis Manu Lalua. That was plenty to get excited about with this guy. Fletcher Hunt and Harrison Graham comes in for a potential debut. For the Seagulls, got Joey Walsh, Nathan Brown, Ethan Bullymore, Paul Bryan, Brandon Wakeman, and Josh Folletti. Again, I think our bench is infinitely better. I don't know half those blokes. Paul Bryan, obviously that bloke that made his debut for us last year. Remember, he was the fella popped his shoulder out. Can't remember who was against. Real tough bastard. Wanted to re-sign him. He bounced to the Seagulls. Is what it is. But yeah, this Francis Manu Leilua, holy shit, this guy is the real fucking deal. All right, remember the name. All right, absolutely killed it.
Fast.
Francis Manu Leilua. All right, I hope I'm pronouncing that right because I went back and tried to. I actually went back and watched some TikTok clips of some bloke breaking down his play back in 2022 when he was playing Union over in New Zealand. I've done my homework on this guy. Now, Kai Pearce-Paul messaged me. I think I was telling you a show or two ago on a Night's Watch restream. This guy is the real fucking deal. Don't know if he's going to make his debut. I hope he does. I hope the stars align and the circumstances allow this guy to make his debut because this guy is a player. This guy is a player of the future. I'm super excited. So, yeah, killed it in Cup. If you talk to anyone who watches Cup football, they know this guy was bashing down the goddamn door. So, going to be very exciting to see if Francis takes the field. Keep your eyes peeled, all right, for our boy Francis. Again, I thought we didn't really get to touch too much, did we, on Pasami Saulo and Matty Croker and Tommy Cant last episode. I thought they came on off the bench in Vegas and did a really good job. I don't think there was any real fall-off when we saw either JSAF or Trey Mooney. Those guys were obviously the two alpha dogs. But I thought when both those guys, all those guys came on, they kept the momentum of the team running. They're not as big as the two, as big as Trey or Jacob, the smaller, more mobile forward. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Matty Croker. I'm just hoping the more and more opportunities we give Matty Croker, the more and more we see the layers of his game peel back. I love that fucking, who was that? Connor Tracy, absolutely flattened Connor Tracy again. So I hope Matty Croker comes out and has a really good game. I think he could be a guy who has a real breakout season this year. Tommy Cant, again, all these guys, I'm just saying, I just feel like game on game, they're just going to improve. And I'm super excited for that. Speaking of the Seagulls, look, they got a couple of old heads there with Nathan Brown and Ethan Bullymore. He was a guy that had a bit of a renaissance last year coming off the bench. But yeah, fucked if I know what I think Joey Walsh is one of these new up and comers. I don't know a great deal about him. Paul Bryan, obviously tough as nails, young fella there. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if we can grind him into the ground and establish that early. If the bench can come on and maintain that, that's going to be the key. Obviously, if Trey and Jacob can sort of assert that dominance and that attrition early on, can these guys coming off the bench continue that good work? Because if we can, for long periods of time, I guarantee you we're going to score a shitload of points on this Seagulls team at Brookvale Oval. All right, looking forward to it. So, yeah, there you go, battlers. That's the squads for this week's round 2 game. All right, let's do it. Time for Lock It In, baby.
It's time to lock it. It's time to lock it in.
Oh, fuck, that gets you in the mood. All right, lock it in. Start getting them ready, battlers. Fire them in. All right, my lock it ins for this week. I got Kalen Ponga 2 tries. All right, he is just in red hot form. He's applying to the Kiwis. That's going to happen. All right, lock him in for 2 tries. He's going to win that player battle up against Tom Dvorovich. Greg Marzu, 200 meters, lock that shit in. He was a bee's dick off last week over in Vegas. He's going to continue that. Those braids, seriously. I think they're longer braids too. Wouldn't you say, Lou? They look a little longer than they were last year, which I'm loving.
Yeah, they're flowing through the wind.
Yeah, they're really. If he gets like the big, long Steve Maddie type ones for all the OGs that remember Steve Maddie, fucking look out. He's just going to be juggernaut, like fucking unstoppable. So lock him in for 200 meters. I got the Knights with 80% possession. I really think that we're going to be really good discipline-wise. I think 80% of the football, if we do that, we're going to give ourselves every chance in the world of winning the game. I think we came in at 75, 76%, which something I was really happy with. I thought execution was really well, handling was really well for a round one game, considering the jokes that went around about the rust around our trials form. So lock us in for 80% there. I've got us winning the possession battle slightly, 52%. Knights 13 plus, baby. Come at me. I reckon we can do it. I seriously think we are lying in the long grass, and I'm fucking loving it. All right. So give me that. I've got the Knights to score in the first 5 minutes as well. I just think we're going to come out and punch them straight in the face. All right. Put those Manly folk to sleep early on at Brookvale Oval. All right. So what are the Battlers got? Is there any lock-it-ins? Has everyone got him in or not?
Got one here.
We got one. What do we got? Everyone's a bit slow. Everyone's getting a bit, they're a bit off their form too.
Just like us.
All right, Matty Pryor, tip for lock it in. Late 90-minute changes, Matt Croker in the starting side for Tice Brazil. I wouldn't be against that. I really wouldn't be against that. I think that Matty Croker at this point, I would kind of want that. If I'm going to be honest with you, I kind of don't mind that. I kind of think if we can establish early play on, get a really quick, establish early dominance very quickly, and then get, Tyson into the mix to kind of continue that off from off the bench. Fuck yeah, lock that shit in. I'm all for it. Let's actually, because I know we saw some lock-it-ins here. I'm going to go for the Club Nitanium. All right, what have we got? Naughty Bob. Kalen Ponga, anytime try scorer. Yes, thank you very much. Brown, 2 try assist. Fuck yes. I'm loving the confidence behind Dylan Brown. 50 to 52% possession. Manly to make 5 to 6 errors. Underdog win. He's got us 1 to 12 and a full-time margin. He's got a bit of a close one, 4 to 6 points. So very good, Chris. Joe, what do you got, Joe? A Dom Young anytime try scorer. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Ponga try assist, 50% possession, 3 to 4 penalties to the Knights. Little win, 1 to 12, but does have the Knights winning both halves. So I will take that very much, Joe.
Good one here from Todd.
All right, Toddy. Last one. What do you got, brother? Lock it in. The best of Bradman, 200 run meters, 2 tries, and 1 assist. Fuck yeah. Well, mate, we saw a little bit of early ball last week. I'm thinking that trend may continue. I'm thinking that Anthony Seibold's like, please, for the love of God, do not give that man early ball. But you could be right. I can just close my eyes and see it now. Brady Best running all kind of mayhem over the Seagulls. Would love that very, very much. Have we got one more? Let's take one more. We'll take one more. All right, Jake. Knights 13 plus. Yeah, baby. Good stuff. Ponga anytime try scorer. Dom Young anytime try scorer. Fuck yeah, lock that in. I don't know. I know I'm the eternal optimist and I get way too overhyped, but I'm feeling it. It's going to be one of the best Knights watches. Make sure you tune in for the Knights watch. I think it's going to be a fucking doozy like last time.
Got one from Scott, just like what you said before. I want to see heaps of early ball to best. If so, 2+ tries.
Yeah, he could this obviously dad. What do we call him? Dad mode best.
Yeah, that's it.
Obviously got the little one now. He's engaged. Is this just going to unlock even more potential out of Bradman? I would think so. I think so. It comes from a good family. So I think that's just going to feed into it. But yes, lock it in. Brought to you by our great mates at Grain Fed Brewery, the beer brewed tough. Just like your game day calls, whether you're backing in the boys for a big win or predicting a masterclass from your favorite player, make sure you've got a cold grain fed in hand. Bold flavors, bold predictions. Lock it in with grain fed. Actually, we are going to be we've got some stuff to work out, but when we come down to Newcastle, we will be doing some content from Grain Fed Brewery pre-game. All right. Got to announce the game we're coming down to yet, but that's what the plan is going to be. So keep your schedules cleared because it is a great venue. It's literally a stone's throw from Mac Jones Stadium. Great place to have a great beer. Game day lager is elite. It's designed after the Knights jersey. What more could you want? Seriously, it looks unbelievable. All right, good stuff. All right, battlers, it's time to answer your burning questions. Let's go.
Burning questions.
All right, Lou, what do we got?
Not a question, but one from Tony earlier said, shout out to Kyle McCarthy. Happy birthday for you today.
Oh, happy birthday, Kyle. How old's Kyle? The mad dog. I'd love to meet Kyle. Seems like a really good dude. Really good dude. Yeah, good memories of Kyle McCarthy players. He always plays really well. Oh, seriously, honestly, I'm not just, I glaze the guys a lot. I'm trying to seriously think of a bad game Kyle McCarthy's ever played. For a guy with a handful of NRL games, he's been fucking great. So, yeah, shout out to you, Kyle. Hope you had a good one, mate. Good for you.
Another one that's not a question, sorry, but I just had to put this in here. Dylan said, surely you got to call it the just ins and outs.
Oi,
How
hey,
have we never
hey, Dylan. The just in and outs.
Just in-
Yeah, fuck, because I was using the Justin Holbrook outlook. Okay. Let's put a pin in that. Thank you very much, Justin. Hey, if you got any more of those puns, keep them coming. Keep them coming. That's a real good one. Fuck, how did I miss out on that? Yeah, good one.
Nick said, there's also a new bobblehead from NRL I saw today. It's Fletcher Sharp. Got to get that one in the shelf, Lincoln.
Yeah, now it's funny. When I got, what was last year's one? This one, the Brady Best one I've got in my hand. I pre-ordered this bastard, and it came about 3 months after they hit the fucking shelves. I had to email them and go, where's my bobblehead? I pre-ordered this when it first hit the shelves, and they're like, oh, sorry, we don't get it till like after all these people. I was like, for fuck's sake, I'm going to the shops, and they're all on the shelves, and I pre-ordered a bastard weeks ago, and I'm still waiting for it. Ugh. So, but yes, actually, let me know, battlers. I wanted to put a post out. What's the? I'll be very keen to know. We'll put our PO box up because we've got a PO box now. We would love to get our hands on some of the new Coles Knights stuff getting around because we can't find it up here. That's fucking one of the shitty parts. Living in southeast Queensland, you don't get any Knights kit. But I think there'd be some cool new little knickknacks that Coles has. So
Did you also see, Jennifer's just reminded me, Build-A-Bear now has Knights jerseys.
I did see that. I'm sure you'll want to go down there when we visit there in a few weeks. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Go build. Actually, that'll make good content. You can go build a bear. There you go.
Tony's asked, what are your thoughts on Young and Marzu and their defense efforts?
Oh, look, I think they'll be all right, mate. I think I know there was a lot of criticism, particularly around Dominic Young. Look, I think they'll iron that out, man. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I certainly don't think it was anything that's going to hit the panic stations just yet. If we see it continue week after week, it's going to be a cause for concern. But just hoping, mate. A couple of game day, jitters, and the boys are just going to find their feet more and more and more. I got all the faith in Brett White's defensive structures and play and what Justin Holbrook's implementing. So let's revisit that in a couple of weeks. If it becomes glaringly obvious we've got some big problems on edge defense, might be something to talk about. But yeah, I'm not hitting that panic button, bro.
Laurie said earlier, I would just love a bit more in defense. By this, I mean hitting a tackle, sticking it, and driving them back. I just want to see 3 guys tackling one guy, and the one guy makes meters rather than losing them.
Yeah, one guy I thought did really, really well that I touched on in the match rewind was Jermaine McEwen. His physicality was really good. You're right. It wasn't like we were going out there and absolutely smashing blokes or anything like that. I don't know. Maybe a directive, warming up into the season. They don't want to see blokes injure themselves by trying to put mad shots on blokes, or they just want to get a bit of contact in the first week or two. I don't know. But I think, though, we got the guys to do it, especially Big Trey. I think if he got a bit hot under the collar, I think he could be a guy that just absolutely lifts everyone. He's got a bit of that in him. So you never know. It could be it. The old foe. As I said, the 1997 foe, reigniting that rivalry there could possibly be. If we get like some of the old boys in the sheds beforehand and talk, the mad shit about the Seagulls back in the, obviously that very first game we ever played against the Seagulls in 1988 in the Herald Cup. To paint a picture for all you younger battlers, a bit of a history lesson. So where this rivalry began, right? So all the younger folk, it's unfortunately a rivalry that's kind of died. Now, when I had the great Robbie O on the show last year when we played the Seagulls, who we would go on to beat at home, one of the great games. Here's the scenes here with our boy Fletcher Hunt batting the ball back to our boy KP, which I think was the only try he scored last year, which is just... yeah, a crime in and of itself. But anyways, so the Newcastle Knights played the Seagulls in the 88 Cup. It was a preseason game. Now, Manly back in the 80s like they were towards the mid-90s, were just stacked team. You know, Bob Fulton, his name forgets me, the coach. Oh, the old Manly coach went to the Titans, got the boot. Oh, Christ, it's been a long off season. Anyways, you remember him, the old Manly coach. He's someone with 10 points the first battle, it reminds me. Cliffy Lyons and the likes. They're absolutely stacked. They're a stacked team, and they were always kind of what the Roosters tag that they had now. Back then, there was no salary cap. So they used to buy every player, the old Silvertails, the bastards. So anyways, they come down. They just won the comp in 87, the thing, and they're going to come down. Who's this brand new ragtag team put together? This is our very first game, battlers.
10 points to Tony, Desi.
Desi, of course, Des. So, yeah, here comes Newcastle, this new team that's been thrown together, right? You had Brisbane, Gold Coast in the Knights, just entered the New South Wales Rugby League, as it was called back then, right? Just come in. And we'll poor as. Didn't have the big salary cap that Manly had there, the big glory club, you know, one of the best teams in that era. Anyways, we go on to fucking beat them. And that's where it started. Here was this team, the underdog, the fucking battlers. That's where it started. That was that's the defining moment of our club. The very first game, we beat the fucking premiers. A stacked team. Proper stacked team, all right? But think of it, it'd be like the old Goannas beating the Roosters when they've just gone back to back. That sort of areas, all right? Like seriously, massive underdogs. We go on to beat them, and that's where it just kicked off. And obviously blew up in 1997 when we finally defeated them. When they were back, they just won back-to-back minor premierships. They were the reigning premiers in 1996, and here we go. We're beating them again. So that's where the rivalry sort of started. Unfortunately, it's a rivalry that's died off. All the younger battlers kind of don't remember the great rivalry we had. And Chief and Spud were, you know, the two alpha dog prop forwards were the poster child of this hatred and this rivalry. You go watch the footage of those two guys just fucking going at it. It's next. Seriously, there is nothing. Modern day players have nothing on those two guys, literally just trying to kill each other on a football field. And not even exaggerating. That's what it was like. These two guys were like firing themselves out of a fucking cannon at one another, just trying to kill the other one. That's what it was like.
Courtney said, bring back the Spud and Chief.
Oh, it was fucking unbelievable. For all you younger battlers, seriously, when this is wrapped up, go check that shit out. It's fucking insane. All right, Chief, yeah, fucking up the Chief. So good. Good stuff. Oh, fuck, that gets me fired up thinking about it. Good stuff. I'd love to have the Chief on. Is that right here behind me? Fuck, what am I talking about? Anyways, what have we got?
Asked, how many years do the Knights give Mazu with the extension?
Yeah, that's a good question, because I said we're really stacked with outside backs. I was kind of a little bit surprised, if I'm going to be honest with you, that they were kicking off extension talks. I kind of thought they would play a little bit of money ball like we did with Kai Pearce-Paul and Jermaine McEwen. You'd have to think it's going to be at least two. At least two. There's no way he's going to sign a one, especially if it's on a cut price deal. Possibly three. But look, if I keep saying it, Brian Tyre is basically the marquee winger. Like he will go down as probably the greatest, if historically looking back, particularly in this modern game. He's just fucking unbelievable. Never plays a bad game. Meter eater is just, you know, he doesn't really have a weakness in his game, Brian Tyre. Super consistent football player. But at his best, Greg Marzhew is basically a prototype of Brian Tyre. So, look, I guess it's going to be the consistency. It's going to be the thing. We know the high ball has been an issue. Hopefully that's something that's been massively addressed. You know, you would definitely think that in the coaching ranks, that's something they've identified and really fixed, because how many times did we see teams start to, you know, you could see it coming a mile away. They shift the ball left and just crossfield kick to the right edge and just try and isolate Greg Marzhew under the high ball. But look, hopefully that's something that's going to be addressed. He is going to be marking up against, I didn't really talk about that. Who is Greg Marzhew? Who's Greg Marzhew is going to be up against Jason Saab. So probably the tallest winger in the comp. If he's, yeah, him and Dominic Young are like 6'7". So going to be a big task for Greg Marzhew. So that's going to be an area to watch. But yeah, it's going to be good to see. It obviously, he's been impressing. That's the good thing. Behind the scenes, and we saw it in round one. I think we were all very impressed what we saw from Greg Marzhew. He's obviously been doing a lot right in preseason for them to want to already start contract negotiations. So that's a really positive sign.
Scott's asked, Gangs is one of our best, but I'd love to see him pass it occasionally, draw and pass to the wing. Feel like that is the only thing missing from his game. Thoughts?
Yeah, it's always been a bit of a criticism. You quite often see comments about Dane hogging the ball. I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know whether it's. That's. I really don't know because he's obviously got a great finisher in Dominic Young, and he was a part of that great backline in 2023. Dominic Young is our greatest single season try scorer. So he must have been flicking quite a bit of ball out to him that year for him to obviously score more tries than any other Newcastle Knight. What was it? 26 tries, I think, that year. Don't know. Hopefully that's something they fix, mate. Obviously he only got to play with him half the season last year, and obviously all of 2024 didn't have Dom on the squad. So let's hope that's something that fixes itself up. I think historically, I know when we had Milky Jenkins and that out there, I think there was a lot of concerns that Dane probably didn't trust some of the rookie guys that we had outside him. But you like to think with Dom, a representative caliber player, that's not going to be the case. So let's get fingers crossed he doesn't have his hand glued to that ball and gets plenty out to him. That's it.
Yep.
We're good. I've extinguished all the burning questions. Good stuff, Battlers. Good stuff. All right, Battlers, before you go, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe. All our content on all social media platforms does go a long, long way, truly. And if you haven't done so already, all right, if you've been listening and tuning in every week and you haven't given us a 5-star review, seriously, go have a look at yourself. What are you doing? All right, you're loving the content. You're eating it up. Give us a 5-star review, baby. Take 5 seconds out of your day. Go a long, long way. Truly. Means a lot, Battlers. Thank you very much. All right, Battlers. Now we will be doing the Knights Watch live stream. So get ready for that. Get your 9097 kit on as we channel some of that energy. We're going to bring that to Brookvale. All right, as we go 13 plus against these silver-tail bastards. All right. Plenty to look forward to there. Really looking forward to jumping back on the Knights Watch. It was fun over in Vegas, but tell you what, it is bloody fun sitting on this couch with you guys and watching some rugby league football. So make sure you keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Good luck to all the battlers that are going to Brookvale. Give them fucking hell. All right. Give them hell for us, battlers. All right. But yeah, we're getting the Adam O'Brien out of here, battlers. We'll see you on the Knights Watch this weekend.